Good evening. It's kind of been a while, hasn't it? There's reasons for that. Reasons that I won't get into right this minute. Lots of exciting things happening in our neck of the woods. And it's weird. Anytime I take a break from doing these videos and I start back up, I always feel very awkward. You would think, having been vlogging for a little over 10 years now, I would be able to just pick it back up like that, but nope. Nope. So earlier this year, I told you guys that once I got my office set up here at the new house, I was going to give you guys a tour of it. And that has been a very ongoing process. It's technically not even finished. It's one of those things that will probably never fully be finished because I'll always want to make changes and like move stuff around. But I think I finally got it to a point now where it's worthy of being shown off. So tonight I'm going to give you guys a tour of the new office, studio, whatever you really want to call it. I've been referring to it as the Halloween Studio version 2.0. So let's head upstairs and check it out. By the way, I don't think I ever showed that. My parents gave me that for my birthday back in February, and it's technically meant to hang on the wall, but we just have it here in the stairway because it looks nice right there. So our tour actually begins directly across from the office, where I have this poster from the 2018 Halloween film, which I actually got signed by Danny McBride, who was one of the writers of this movie. So then as we enter into the room, you are greeted by a trick-or-treat floor mat and just a little coffin up on the wall. This is actually meant to be a chalkboard, and I used to think that I was gonna write little messages on it or something, but I kind of just like it there as it is. So as you can see, there's some pretty crazy lighting in here, so you'll have to forgive the crazy colors here. But the first thing you see as you come into the room is my Halloween backdrop, I guess you could call it. And the idea is, when I'm sitting here at the computer filming a video or whatever, this is the background that you get. There's actually a few videos already on the channel where I have already made use of this background, even before I like finished with the room and everything. So there's not really too much to say about what's over here, other than maybe the piano, which that is a prop that I built back in 2017 for our masquerade. It's one of my favorite props that I ever made, so I definitely wanted to put it in the spotlight here in the new house. Although this is not the original keyboard that I used for this prop, which is why it doesn't quite fit. The one that I originally used, the keys went all the way to the edges, which made it look a little bit more realistic than this does. But I still think this wall is pretty cool. It serves as a nice backdrop. And then I kind of passed over this coming in. This is just a little bit of storage area. These are all of my costumes from previous Halloweens. This was the masquerade ball. Let's see, we got this was the biohazard suit from the zombie year. We got, this was a Ghost Rider costume, which that wasn't for Halloween, that was for a party we went to several years ago. I got my pirate costume from Disney last year, circus costume, yeah, just like pretty much all the past years, even from like when I was really young. And then over here, this is kind of like a little storage area for my old video games, old GameCube games and PlayStation games and stuff like that. And of course, good old Rock Band and Guitar Hero stuff. Coming over here to this side of the room, this is my shelf of random things. basically everything on the shelf has a story to it, and it's kind of meant to just represent me in a bunch of different ways. I won't bore you by going over every single individual item, but we got things like, that's a guitar pick guard signed by the members of Slipknot. That was given to me by Emily as a Christmas gift a few years ago. These are a couple of dollar bills that came from Ghost in concert. Then of course there's just other things that represent my interests. Pokemon, Dead by Daylight, Doctor Who, you know, stuff like that. This is actually one of the most interesting things on this shelf, I think. It's a strip of film, and for those of you who haven't been watching for a very long time, I used to be a projectionist at a movie theater, back whenever movie theaters still ran 35mm film. And this was from my first ever shift. Well, my first shift alone. I had been trained for a couple weeks on how to run the projectors and everything. My very first shift by myself, the film got cut into gears. If you know anything about projector systems, it was called a brain wrap. And the film ended up getting pulled very tightly in the gears of the projector, which is why it's like all bent out of shape right there. And that is a missing frame. This is where the film got stuck right in front of the lamp, and it put off enough heat to actually melt this part of the film. You know how you see in like old movies and cartoons, it's like a weird, it looks like the film is burning. Well, that's what happened. So I cut this piece of film out of the movie, and I've kept it ever since. To be honest, I can't even remember what movie it was, but I do know that is Jeff Bridges. It was a movie where he played a country music singer, I think, from like 2009, 2010, something like that. But this is one of my favorite things over here on the shelf. Another one of my favorite things is this certificate. I may have shown this in the past, I can't remember. But when I was a kid, I got slimed at Nickelodeon Studios in Orlando, and I was given this certificate for it. That was June 10th, 2002. Wow. A long time ago. Everything else is pretty much self-explanatory. That was the plaque that I made myself when I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And that's a jar of my dog's ashes. So now we come to the main focal point of the whole room, and that is my workstation. This is almost exactly the same as my previous studio tour. I'll throw up a list of specs here on the screen for those of you who are interested in that. The only real differences are I upgraded the monitors to 4K monitors, which are pretty nice. I've got my live YouTube subscriber count, which is really cool. Got my wireless charger over here for my phone. And then I've got my birthday present to myself from this year. It's an HTC Vive virtual reality set. You may have noticed when I was showing the bookshelf over here, one of the sensors mounted up in the corner. I got the other one over there by the door. When I bought this headset a few months ago, I was very worried that I was not going to get my money's worth out of it, and it was going to end up being a buyer's remorse sort of situation. But we have had so much fun with this thing. We've had a bunch of friends and family come over and try it out, and they're a lot of fun, and I'm very glad that I bought this. Oh, and a couple of other little differences with the new setup I forgot to mention. We've got a completely wireless mouse and wireless keyboard, which are pretty nice. And then down here, underneath the desk, I have a mounted USB hub, which makes things a lot easier, not having to plug things into the actual PC over there. And then this is a fingerprint scanner. so that when I first turn the computer on, I don't have to type in a password or anything. I just come over here and go like that, and it unlocks the PC. Totally unnecessary and overkill, I know, but it's fun. And then obviously, as you can see, to set the mood in here, I have a bunch of lighting from behind the computer, a bunch of different colors and everything, which is funny. The camera shows this light as purple, but in real life, it's just blue. There's no purple. I'm not sure why it shows purple. I can't get it to not show purple. And then of course we have some decorations up there, more just like scene setters and stuff, more lighting effects and everything. But I think that is pretty much going to do it for this office tour. Actually, not quite. One thing I am very proud of, and that is my cable management. It's definitely not the best, but it's the best I've ever done. If you look back at my old studio tour, there were tons and tons of cables hanging everywhere. And I haven't gotten rid of any of those cables. In fact, I've added even more with like the virtual reality set and everything. But I actually took the time to do some cable management. And if you look back here, you can kind of see how it was done. All the cables coming from the monitors kind of run up along these arms down through a little cover here, which blends into the wall very nicely when you're standing from back here. And then those cables come out of that cover and go into this cable track that is mounted on the back of the desk. You can probably get a better view of that from over here. And they run all the way to that end where that's where the mess is, over there behind the case. So that area over there could definitely use some work. But you know what? You never see that when you're looking at it from this point of view, so it's really not a concern of mine. So you guys will have to let me know what you think of the new office space. It's definitely become one of my favorite rooms of the whole house. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.